Hello, my name is Sean Martin, and I'm a counselor here. That means I'm nervous, doesn't it?
Totally. What's your name?
Okay, so I'm going to be relaxed.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is me being relaxed. Hello, my name is Sean Martin. I'm one of the counselors here at the Health and Counseling Center. And I've been taking a look at some of the blogs that students have been leaving about mental health, specifically stigma. And myself and my colleague, we want to join the conversation. We know that being a university student can be a very stressful and demanding experience. In a recent study, we've come to know that over 90% of students admit to having overwhelming feelings at some point about the competing demands placed on them. As a counselor here at UTM, I've had the privilege of meeting with many of you and having conversations about how it feels for you to be a student. I get the sense that there are norms or expectations about how you should be or act as a student and what you should be able to handle at your age. And even how you should feel as you're walking through the spaces here around campus or sitting in a lecture. Students tell me these norms or messages about being a university student come to them from many places. From their parents, who have high expectations and who've invested a great deal and are expecting success. From the glossy brochures with the smiley faces of students who are socially appropriate, well-adjusted, who are also the varsity athlete and carrying a 4.0 GPA. So, are you living up to expectations about what you should be able to handle or achieve or how you should be as a student? Stigma is what you think about yourself in those quiet moments when, as Irving Goffman put it, it's just you and the mirror. Do you feel like you're living up to social norms? One blog in particular stood out for me. It was the one by Nolan, who shared with us his own struggle with mental illness. He said, "The hardest part is not fighting what's in here, but what's out there. It's not a chemical imbalance, but a social imbalance." And I think he's onto something. Much of the experience that I've had in my office is with students who are experiencing pain and suffering because they feel like they're not living up to social norms or expectations when it comes to their role as a son or a daughter or a student. And if Nolan is referring to the fact that society doesn't make space for emotional experiences that are different from the social norm, and that's what makes it hard for the over 90% of students who feel overwhelmed but never talk about it or tell about it, then I think he's on to something. I've got to agree with him. The stigmatized person doesn't feel like they're a part of the majority. They often feel shame. I've heard it described as feeling inadequate or lost or alone. For example, many students get really nervous when they're in social situations, and as a result they find it hard to make new friends or meet new people. At the same time, these students may carry around with them a notion that they ought to be able to do these things. Stigma is what prevents them from reaching out and getting help or talking about their feelings. What we at the Health and Counseling Center want you to know is that we're here to help. And Madeline and I really wanted to be a part of this conversation, not because we want to be perceived as the experts. We really honor and respect the courage that's coming through in these vlogs. And we just want to lend our support and validate the experiences that you're all talking about. So it was great talking to you. Keep a lookout for the next video by my colleague Madeline, who is going to share more about how to access Health and Counseling Center resources and about her own experience. Great to be a part of the conversation.